Because of the following special program, Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
The Star Wars Holiday Special. Starring that Junkman, Larry J. Wappa III, Lumpy Baca, Scott Valentine as the voice of Darth Vader, with special guest stars Red Fox as Fred G. Sanford, Demont Wilson as Lamont Sanford, Haywood Nelson as Barry, Beatrice Arthur as Maud, and Gangster Chewbacca, and more on the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Fighting the Frizzies at 11.
Whew, after that opening, I feel like I have to do something really special, but it's not, it's just a normal video. But happy birthday, Star Wars, the Holiday Special. You turned 41 years old today. That's right, 41 years ago on this date, November 17th, 1978, Star Wars, the Holiday Special, premiered on CBS television and changed the world forever. Now, I've been thinking of doing a holiday special video for a couple years now, but how can I do it? What's different? What hasn't been said about the holiday special that really needs to be said? It's been made fun of to death, so I didn't want to just sit here and make fun of it yet again. So I thought we'd take a look at some of the promotion for the holiday special, some merchandise for the holiday special, yes, Kenner action figures for the holiday special, and just talk about my memories of the holiday special. So let's start right there with the memory. I was already 6 years old. I don't have a lot of memory of actually watching it, but I do have memories of knowing about it, being excited about it, waiting for it to come on. Me and my brother in the living room, excited. Now you're thinking, how could I see commercials for this thing and be excited for it? Didn't it look horrible? Yes, it probably did. First, you have to put your mind in the 1970s. Variety shows were a thing. That was a big deal on television. Think of it today like those singing competition shows today that's on every network. American Idol, You Can Be a Star, The Voice. Although I don't like these shows, they are the most popular thing on television, at least TV network, and that's how variety shows was. We had the Paul Lynde special. We had a Bob Hope special. We even had a Richard Pryor variety show. We had a Donnie and Marie. We had Sonny and Cher, Glenn Campbell, Johnny Cash. If you were a celebrity, chances are you had a variety show. There was even a Brady Bunch variety show. So they were never seen as top of the line, the greatest entertainment ever, but they were a part of the 70s, and as cheesy as they are looking back now, at the time, we didn't know any better. But that doesn't excuse the holiday special. Yes, it's horrible. Even when you take into account the time period and that it's a variety show, out of all the variety shows in the 70s, there's a lot of bad ones out there. This is probably the worst. But I remember getting very excited about this. We didn't have Star Wars on home release at this time. So to see anything Star Wars on television was great. You either got to see little clips of it on television or you had to go to the movie theater. So other than seeing the making of Star Wars a few months before and Star Wars commercials on television, this was exciting. You got to see Darth Vader, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, the real actors in your house, in your living room. Now I don't remember my reaction to watching it. Not sure if I fell asleep during it or hated it. I was probably just so excited about seeing Star Wars on television that I couldn't help it, that I was probably loving it. But that's about where my memory of actually seeing it stopped. The only other memory I have is one we'll get to later. But it was always in my head. When someone would talk about Star Wars, I had this vague memory of Star Wars on television, some kind of Christmas special. We called it a Christmas special a lot in the 80s. And this was before the internet, where we didn't have bootleg copies of this thing. We would just hear about it. Yeah, you remember when Star Wars did a TV special? I think Boba Fett was on it, and you had vague memories of just seeing clips. You remember B. Arthur. You remember the aliens in the cantina really stuck in mind. The Boba Fett cartoon. And no one that you talk to really can remember much about it other than, yeah, I kind of remember there being something on television. I remember that, but that's about it. That's until I started going to toy shows in the early 90s and everyone had bootleg VHS copies of it, so I had to buy it. But let's look at promotion for Star Wars, the holiday special. Here's one memory I'll say I'll get to later. One thing I do remember in TV Guide, they had two pictures from the holiday special. One was a full-page ad that most of you probably know. It's used a lot of times for the bootleg copy of the VHS or DVD. And on the other page was what TV Guide called close-up, where they give you a little bit more information, a spotlight. Hey, watch this tonight, the Star Wars holiday special. Let's take a look at those ads from the TV Guide. As you can see, not only is there an advertisement for Star Wars The Holiday Special and a close-up telling you more about it, you also get an ad for Hollywood Squares. And on that episode, Robert Urich and Paul Lynde go pun to pun. Sounds exciting. This ad cover is probably the most exciting thing about the holiday special. I don't see how anyone could look at this photo and not be excited. Luke Skywalker and Han Solo battle evil Imperial forces to help Chewbacca to reach his family on the Wookiee planet in time for Life Day, the most important day of the year, with special guests Beatrice Arthur, Art Carney, Diane Carroll, the Jefferson Starship, and Harvey Korman. Ooh, I get excited just seeing that. Although I know that's a piece of crap, I still get kind of excited because I remember looking at the TV Guide, seeing that ad, and I think I held on that TV Guide for years. That's why I remember it so much. I probably would just look at it and be like, whoa, Star Wars is on television. I can't wait. And it was really exciting because you got some deleted scenes in there, some scenes from the film. Very cool. The only other thing that hit me odd about this is Beatrice Arthur. I always called her B. Arthur. That's what I always heard, B. Arthur. I don't know when she went by Beatrice. Maybe she changed it to B. Arthur by the time the Golden Girls came out. Ugh. But I did love some Maud. Now let's look at some other clippings from the newspapers. This one here is very odd. This was in the heyday of Star Wars fever. And what does this newspaper label it as? Art Carney scheduled for CBS musical show. You would think they would use Star Wars in the title of this, but no, Art Carney is what they figured was the driving force. The Star Wars Holiday Special is now in production with Beatrice Arthur, Art Carney, we know all the special guests. The 2-hour musical show for CBS will include appearances from such stars of the movie as Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, and Peter Mayhew. It doesn't really get into the plot, but I always thought this ad was funny, being it titled Art Carney as the star of the show. Didn't even say Star Wars. You'd think it may say Art Carney scheduled for Star Wars musical show or CBS Star Wars musical show with Art Carney. It's just so odd that they left Star Wars out of the title. And here's another one that did a write-up about the Star Wars Holiday Special. There's nothing really new here to read. It just goes on to what we all know about the show. But what I like here is the artwork. Speaking of artwork, check this great one out here. Looks really good, and I like the title, Liz Taylor versus Chewbacca. When have you ever seen that in a headline? I tell you, I would really love to have this one as a poster. Now, to help promote the holiday special, Lucasfilm and CBS made up production photos to send to news magazines, local television stations, newspapers, and more. Let's take a look at some of those promotional images. This is one we've probably seen before of Luke Skywalker and R2-D2. Not sure why they wanted R2 to face Luke and not toward the camera. I think it would have looked better. It says Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, and his faithful companion R2-D2 repair Luke's Rebel X-Wing fighter craft in 20th Century Fox Television's The Star Wars Holiday Special. Another 8x10 black and white promotional photo that was sent out shows a clip from the animated segment. But if you notice something, it says a little odd in the description below. Animated Han Solo and C-3PO in the cockpit of a pirate spaceship, the Millennium Falcon, in 20th Century Fox's The Holiday Special, airing on CBS. You know all about that and who's in it. But look at that. This is a Y-wing with Luke Skywalker and 3PO. But according to the text on the photo, it's Han Solo and C-3PO in the Millennium Falcon. Come on, guys. You're not even trying. And here's a promotional photo of Chewbacca's dad just taking a break, taking it easy. Wookiee Chewbacca's father, Itchy, relaxes in his treehouse hundreds of feet from the surface of the Wookiee planet. This is another one here of the Chewbacca family. It's a photo I think we've all seen before. The Wookiee Chewbacca and his family celebrate Life Day on their planet in the 20th Century Fox CBS special. We know all that again. And here's another picture with some odd text. An Imperial Stormtrooper inspects the wires in Trey Dan's shop in the 20th Century Special. Who's running things over there at CBS or 20th Century Fox? Really? A Stormtrooper? And thinking Luke Skywalker is Han Solo and the Y Wing is the Millennium Falcon? Oh, brother.
Hey, CBS, what's coming on?
Friday, blast off to a galaxy far, far away. It's the Star Wars Holiday Special, starring all your Star Wars favorites. Will Chewbacca get home to his planet in time for the big Wookiee holiday celebration? Watch and find out.
Now let's take a look at behind-the-scenes photo. It's small, but let's take a look at it because I think it kind of sums up everyone's feeling when they were watching Star Wars The Holiday Special. Here's Princess Leia on break, drinking a tab, and look at that face. I think she feels as we all do when we're watching this special. And what's another way to promote a television show? Merchandise. So let's look at some of the released Star Wars Holiday Special merchandise. Yes, some merchandise was released. Let's take a look. Probably the most famous is the Star Wars Wookiee Storybook. It's not really based on the Holiday Special, but it was sold to promote the upcoming special. As you can see, the book stars Chewbacca's family like the Holiday Special. One of the special guests on the show was the Jefferson Starship, and they sung a song, Light the Sky on Fire. That song was released on a 45 RPM, the new single from the forthcoming Greatest Hits album, Gold, as seen and heard on the CBS TV Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, we all know George Lucas hates this thing. He's once said if he could, he would take a hammer and go to every convention that sold it and smash it. Thankfully, he never did that. But in 1995, Lucasfilm released some limited edition film sales from the cartoon segment, the one that features Boba Fett from the Holiday Special. Let's take a look at those. The first one shows a ship with a huge cannon with 3 stormtroopers piloting. And the other, probably the best, shows 2 stormtroopers in the background with the centerpiece being Boba Fett. But what about action figures? Yes, there was one Star Wars Holiday Special action figure released and some others planned. Okay, you're going to fuss at me and say that's not a Holiday Special action figure, but kinda it is. The Snaggletooth action figure is based on one of the aliens we see during the Holiday Special. Sure, there's some aliens that look like the same species in A New Hope, but looking at the card for the Snaggletooth action figure, the photo used is from the Holiday Special. And as you can see here, the figure on the card that the figure is based on is from the Holiday Special. Sure, there's some other creatures dressed a little differently in A New Hope, but as you can see from the red outfit and the photo used from the Holiday Special, this was intended to be a Holiday Special action figure. And yes, Kenner did plan to make the Wookiee family action figures. Don't believe me? Check it out. And here's prototypes of the 4 planned Holiday Special action figures. Of course, we got Chewbacca, just the standard Chewbacca action figure. As you can see here, a prototype of Chewbacca's father, Itchy, what is just a Chewbacca action figure with some great paint. And the smallest one is, of course, Lumpy, Chewbacca's son. And we have Mala, Chewbacca's wife, in a different color, but looks like the same mold for Chewbacca. And yes, that's Wookiee boobs. There were even more. Kenner had early concept art of the dragon that Boba Fett rides on in the Holiday Special. This would have been a very cool toy to have for sure. One thing great about the Holiday Special, I know people talk about the cartoon, but my favorite was the cantina scene. Sure, I hated seeing Beatrice Arthur sing, but you got some close-up look at the aliens that you didn't get in the film. Let's take a look at some promotional photos taken from inside the cantina. And here's Walrus Man, which you millennials call Panda Baba or something. Looks like he's having a bad day. But he has both of his arms back. And here's a big giant rat that sits in the corner of the cantina. And again, we have a picture of Snaggletooth. As you can see, if you look very closely, he has the design on his belt like the action figure, unlike any one of his species seen in A New Hope. Again, more evidence that the figure is based on this character from the Holiday Special. And then there's Maud, talking to the alien horn creature that we do see in A New Hope. And one more of B. Arthur talking to everyone's favorite hammer, the Hammerhead. It's really great seeing those aliens up close. Now, let's fight the Frizzy. In 1999, during an episode of South Park, they did a parody of this clip right here. Let me show you the original.
Fighting the Frizzies at 11.
And here is the South Park clip parody.
Fighting the Frizzies at 11.
Many people, when this aired in 1999, scratched their heads. Fighting the Frenzy, what is this? What are they talking about? And most people didn't even know that this was a Star Wars Holiday Special reference. If you ever have the bootleg copy that has all the original commercials to it, you'll see this clip from a local news anchor. So if you watched the South Park Christmas episode from 1999 and wonder what this parody clip is, now you know it's a parody from a clip seen during the holiday special. Now there's only two more things I'll add to this, is that the holiday special made the cover of Starlog magazine. And here it is, showing all the aliens, looking like a class photo. I never had this as a kid, but it would have blown my mind if I did, and it would have made me more excited for the show. The Star Wars Holiday Special also graced the cover of TV Weekly. Not a very exciting cover, and looks like somebody made it themselves. Anyway, that's a look at some of the promotional material, planned action figures, behind-the-scenes photos, and more from the Star Wars Holiday Special. If you've never seen it, at least check it out. It's worth a watch, or at least an attempt to watch. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. If you like my content, please hit thumbs up, or you can hit thumbs down. I don't really care, but I really like it if you hit thumbs up because I really do care. And please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Kisby!
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.